You think intimacy is about words, about asking politely, step by step, hoping she'll feel flattered. But here's the truth. The more you ask, the less she feels. Desire isn't created in comfort. It's born in tension, in the silent presence of a man who owns himself. So today I'll break down 10 psychological tricks that show you how to ask a woman for intimacy without begging, without games, and without killing the spark. If you're ready, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment your city below. Let's begin. 1, she doesn't want weak energy. Most men believe women reject them because of looks, money, or some missing quality on paper. But the reality is far simpler and more painful. She's not rejecting your face, your job, or your sense of humor. She's rejecting the energy you carry when you come close. Weak energy, timid presence, that invisible vibe that says, I hope she chooses me, instead of, I know my value. A woman can feel this instantly. She doesn't need to analyze it. Her body simply responds, or it doesn't. If you keep hesitating, always asking softly, waiting for her to guide you, she may still like you as a friend, but the switch of desire stays off. Comfort isn't desire. Comfort makes her feel safe, like she's around a brother or a buddy. Attraction, on the other hand, is built on tension, that spark of, this man knows himself. Here's the brutal truth. Every time you walk on eggshells, every time you lower your voice to seek approval, every time you hold back because you're scared to lose her, you're telling her you don't believe you deserve intimacy. And if you don't believe it, why should she? Women crave presence. They want to feel you before you even touch them. A grounded man whose energy says, I want you, but I don't need you, awakens something primal in her. That kind of man doesn't have to ask, is this okay? His very presence makes her answer before he even opens his mouth. Now, don't twist this truth. Weak energy isn't about being polite or kind. You can be kind, respectful, and gentle while still holding masculine clarity. Weakness shows when you hide your desire, when you wait endlessly, when you hope she'll make the move for you. And once she senses that, it's over. She files you in the nice but not exciting category, and she'll never unsee it. If you want intimacy, stop thinking she's rejecting your looks. She's rejecting your energy. Become the man who's comfortable with desire, who owns it silently, without shame, without apology. When you carry that energy, she leans in. When you don't, she pulls away. 2, stop asking. Permission, lead, or lose. One of the biggest killers of female attraction is hesitation. You're laughing, the vibe is strong, she's leaning closer, and then you ruin it with, can I kiss you? In that moment, she doesn't hear respect. She feels uncertainty, and uncertainty kills the mood instantly. Men today confuse asking permission with showing care. They believe being cautious makes them look respectful, but women don't crave a man who checks in every 5 seconds. They crave a man who knows the moment and leads it, calmly and without force. Think about it. If every move you make is a question, you're putting the emotional weight on her. You're making her responsible for guiding the connection, and that responsibility makes her lose attraction fast. Leadership here doesn't mean pushing or crossing boundaries. It means being so grounded that you don't have to rely on constant approval. You hold eye contact. You lean in with calm energy. You trust your read of the situation. And if you're wrong, if she says no, you respect it instantly, but you don't collapse. That's the difference. Rejection doesn't break a man who's in control. It simply gives him clarity. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first, you lean in and ask, is it okay if I kiss you? She pauses, maybe even smiles, but the moment is gone. In the second, you lean in with quiet confidence without asking, leaving her space to meet you. She feels the charge, the mystery, and 9 times out of 10, she follows. Attraction isn't logical. She doesn't get turned on by a checklist of good behavior. She gets turned on by energy, by presence, by a man who reads her signals and trusts himself enough to lead. When you stop asking like a nervous boy and start leading like a man, you change everything. Women don't want to guide you. They want to feel guided by you. And the second you make her do the heavy lifting, you lose her interest. So stop giving away your power with nervous questions, lead or lose. Those are your only options. 3, female desire is silent, not logical. Here's a scenario you've probably lived. She tells you she's not ready, so you wait patiently, thinking that's the respectful thing to do. Then a week later, she's intimate with someone else. And you sit there confused, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? The answer? You took her words at face value while ignoring her actual desire. Female desire doesn't follow logic. It doesn't operate on timelines or checklists. It's not about good behavior earning intimacy. A woman may say she wants stability, patience, kindness, but those qualities don't automatically spark her attraction. Desire is primal. It's emotional. It's a reaction to how you make her feel in the moment, not what you offer on paper. This is why nice guys lose. They think if they tick every box, good job, kind heart, respectful attitude, eventually she'll reward them with intimacy. But that's not how it works. She might appreciate those traits, even admire them, but desire isn't logical appreciation. It's heat, tension, instinct. And if you can't awaken that, she'll move toward the man who does, even if he has none of the right qualities she claims to want. That's the painful truth. She doesn't reject you because you're not good enough on paper. She rejects you because you didn't stir her body. You were logical when desire is emotional. You were cautious when attraction is irrational. And while you were waiting politely, another man walked in with silent confidence and ignited what you couldn't. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean women are liars. It means they're human. Their words reflect logic. Their actions follow desire. If you only listen to her words, you'll miss what her body is screaming. So the lesson is simple. Stop looking for logical pathways to intimacy. Stop believing if you just wait longer, she'll magically flip the switch. Instead, embody the energy that awakens her instincts. Slow your movements. Ground your breath. Make eye contact that lingers a second too long. Create tension she can't explain. That's what flips her from logical to emotional. That's how you bypass her words and reach her desire. 4. Your energy speaks louder than words. Saying them in the mirror until they sound perfect. But when you finally face her, your body betrays you. Your voice may sound confident, but your shoulders are tense, your hands fidget, and your eyes keep darting away. She notices, she feels it. And in that second, no matter what comes out of your mouth, her desire drops. Women feel energy before words. It's almost instinctual. You could say all the right things, but if your vibe screams, please like me, she will sense it. On the other hand, you might barely speak, yet if your energy is calm, grounded and steady, she feels pulled in without explanation. That's the difference between men who get labeled just a friend and men who awaken something deeper. Here's the hard truth. Modern men are often taught to hide their masculine energy. They're told it's too much, that it scares women, that it needs to be suppressed. So what happens? They overcompensate by becoming extra polite, overly careful, and endlessly nice. And what does she feel? Nothing. No spark, no tension, just safety, the kind you feel around a friend, not a lover. But your masculine energy isn't dangerous. It's magnetic if you own it without shame. That doesn't mean being aggressive or forceful. It means standing tall, breathing deeply, holding eye contact, and not apologizing for wanting her. Desire isn't the problem. Fear of desire is. When you hide what you feel, she loses respect. When you own it calmly, she relaxes. Think about this. A woman doesn't fantasize about the man begging. Is this okay if I touch you now? She fantasizes about the man whose presence already said it, without a word. The man who doesn't need approval to feel his own want. And if she's not ready, he respects it, but he doesn't collapse. That's masculine mastery. So next time you're with her, forget the lines. Focus on the vibe you're radiating. Does your body say, I'm unsure, I'm waiting for your decision? Or does it say, I know what I want and I'm fine either way? That difference is everything. Your energy speaks louder than anything your lips could say. 5. The man who doesn't react excites. Most men believe showing emotions openly makes them more attractive. They think if they react strongly to her moods, she'll see how much they care. But in reality, every overreaction chips away at her desire, because what excites her isn't your emotions. It's your control over them. Let's play this out. She doesn't text back for a few hours. Instead of staying calm, you start sending multiple messages, checking her social media, and replaying scenarios in your head. She sees it, and her respect vanishes. Or she posts a story with another guy, and instead of staying cool, you spiral into jealousy. From her perspective, you just exposed your insecurity, and nothing kills attraction faster. Women, whether consciously or not, test men. They don't do it to be cruel. They do it to feel your depth, to see if you can hold your ground. Every cold reply, every delayed text, every sudden shift in mood, it's a test, and most men fail. They panic, chase harder, or explode in anger. What they don't realize is this: every time you react, you show her you're controlled by her actions. And if she can control you that easily, she can't trust you. Now imagine the opposite. She ignores your text. You don't flinch. You stay busy, focused, unshaken. She pulls away in conversation, and instead of chasing, you smile, let the silence sit, and move on. That calm steadiness drives her crazy. Why? Because now she doesn't know what you feel. You became unpredictable, mysterious, untouchable. That's when she starts thinking about you nonstop. Not because you tried harder, but because you didn't move at her command. Your restraint creates tension, and tension creates attraction. So here's the lesson. Stop reacting to every little test. Stop chasing after her moods. Hold your center. Keep building your life with or without her. Women don't desire emotional babysitting. They desire men who stay unshaken no matter the storm. When you master that, you won't need to prove anything. She'll feel it, and she'll lean in closer, wondering how you became so rare. 6. Make her suggest it first. Here's the harsh truth. If you have to beg for intimacy, you've already lost the spark. The second you ask directly, "When will this happen? Don't you want to?" The dynamic shifts from passion to negotiation, and nothing kills desire faster than negotiation. But here's the trick. You don't force it. You don't plead for it. You set the stage so she feels it was her idea all along. That's the psychological key. When she believes she chose, her desire skyrockets. When she feels pressured, it dies instantly. So how do you make it happen? It's about presence, not words. You sit with her in calm silence, eyes steady, body language relaxed. You don't rush. You don't crowd her. You let tension build in the air, thicker with every passing second. The more grounded you stay, the more her mind starts racing. She starts shifting closer, biting her lip, looking for signs of what's next. That's when she leans in, not because you asked, but because you pulled her into your gravity. Think about the difference. The begging guy whines, "Why won't you stay over? When will we take this further?" She feels cornered, like she's granting him a favor. But the calm man, he says nothing. He lets the silence speak. And eventually she whispers, "Are you going to stay a little longer?" That's the moment. That's her crossing the line. And here's why it works. Women want to feel like they gave in to something bigger than logic, not that they were persuaded by sales pitches. When she feels the tension so strongly that she makes the first move, she owns the choice. And when she owns it, she dives in without guilt, without hesitation, without regret. So stop trying to talk her into intimacy. Stop selling yourself with promises or timelines. Create the space, build the charge. Let her step into it willingly. That's when she feels alive. That's when she feels safe. That's when she remembers you as the man who didn't chase, didn't beg, didn't push, yet somehow made her want to cross the line herself. 7. Silence builds more than words. Most men are terrified of silence. They think if they don't keep talking, she'll get bored, or worse, lose interest. So they fill every pause with jokes, questions, compliments, anything to avoid the quiet. But here's the truth. Silence is more seductive than any line you could ever say. Think about it. When you sit back, breathe steady, and let a pause linger, she starts to wonder, what's he thinking? What's he feeling? Why is he so calm? That curiosity pulls her in. Her imagination begins to fill the gap your words left empty. And imagination is far more powerful than explanation. Picture this scene. You're sitting close on the couch. The laughter fades. The room goes quiet. Most guys panic and blurt out something random, killing the tension. But the rare man just leans back, holds her eyes, and lets the silence hang. In that silence, her heartbeat quickens. She becomes self-aware. She wonders if you'll make a move. And that's when attraction grows legs. Silence isn't emptiness. It's pressure. It's the invisible space where desire lives. And the man who can stay calm in silence shows he doesn't need to be validated every second. He's not desperate to impress. He's comfortable enough with himself to let the moment breathe. That alone makes him magnetic. Now, don't confuse this with being cold or awkward. Silence doesn't mean staring blankly like a statue. It means staying present, connected, holding her with your eyes, your body language, your steady breathing. It means saying less so she can feel more. Women crave mystery. They don't want everything explained. They want to feel like they're discovering something in you. And when you let silence do the talking, you give her room to project, to imagine, to lean closer. That's when she whispers something first. That's when she reaches for your hand. So the next time you're with her, resist the urge to overtalk. Let the silence stretch. Smile. Hold her gaze. Breathe steady. And watch how quickly she fills the space. Not with boredom, but with attraction. Because in that stillness, she doesn't just hear you. She feels you. And that feeling is unforgettable. 8. Read her body, not her words. Men often make the fatal mistake of taking everything a woman says literally. She says, let's take it slow, and you think that means she's not ready for intimacy. But then a week later, she's with someone else, and you're left confused. The problem? You listened to her words, but ignored her body. Here's the truth. Female desire is expressed more through signals than sentences. She might not say, I want you, but she'll lean closer when you speak. Her pupils will dilate, her breathing will slow down, her voice will drop an octave. She'll mirror your movements without even realizing it. These are green lights flashing right in front of you, but most men miss them because they're stuck in their heads, waiting for verbal confirmation. On the flip side, if her body stiffens, if she crosses her arms, pulls back, or avoids your gaze, that's a clear red light. And here's where many men mess up. They ignore those signs and push anyway. That's not confidence, that's disrespect. True masculine presence means reading both her signals and her boundaries. If her body language says no, you stop instantly, without sulking, without guilt tripping. That alone makes her trust you more. Think of it this way. Words come from her logical brain, but desire lives in her nervous system. She might say she's not ready, but if her body is leaning in, touching you back, biting her lip, you know her desire is ahead of her logic. That doesn't mean you force. It means you notice, you hold the tension, and you let her close the gap when she chooses. The man who reads body language instead of just listening blindly is the man who understands how women truly work. He doesn't argue with her words. He respects them, but he also pays attention to her reactions. That balance, awareness plus restraint, is what builds trust. And ironically, trust is what unlocks deeper intimacy. So stop waiting for perfect sentences of consent before you move. Learn to read her. If her body is giving signals, she's telling you more than her words ever could. And if she pulls back, honor it with strength, because the man who can read her without pressing her is the man she feels safest and most attracted to. 9. The kiss. Invite, don't ask. Here's where so many men ruin the moment. The vibe is strong. She's leaning close, eyes are locked, and then you break it with, "Can I kiss you?" She might smile, she might even say yes, but the tension dies right there. Why? Because attraction isn't about negotiation, it's about flow. The kiss is not something you ask for like borrowing a pen. It's something you create space for. The secret is invitation, not permission. You don't rush, you don't announce, you set the stage and let her meet you halfway. That's what makes it electric. Here's how. Hold her eyes a little longer than normal. Let your gaze drop slowly to her lips, then back up to her eyes. Pause. That silent exchange communicates more than words ever could. If she stays, if she softens, if her breathing shifts, you move in slowly, giving her space to lean in. If she meets you, perfect. If she doesn't, you pull back calmly with a smile. You didn't lose anything, you kept your presence intact. That's the difference. The insecure man collapses if she says no. He gets awkward, over-explains, apologizes, and the whole mood dies. But the grounded man, he shrugs it off and keeps the night warm. That restraint actually makes her think about it later. She realizes he wasn't desperate, he wasn't begging. He was offering an invitation she could accept or decline. And that makes him unforgettable. The kiss should feel like gravity, not a transaction. She shouldn't feel like she's granting you access. She should feel like she was pulled into something natural, something inevitable. That's why asking ruins it. It puts the decision in her logical brain when attraction is built in the body. So next time the moment comes, don't ruin it with nervous words. Set the stage with presence. Let her body respond, and then invite her in with silence. The best kisses don't need permission slips. They happen when two people feel the same pull and one of them has the courage to lead without begging. 10. The real trick, presence, not lines. At the end of the day, no pickup line, no clever phrase, no memorized routine will save you if your presence is weak. Words can be copied. Presence can't. And that's why women respond more to how you carry yourself than what you say. Presence is simple. It's the calm in your eyes. It's the steady pace of your breathing. It's the way you take up space without apologizing for it. It's the confidence of knowing you want her, but you'll be fine even if she says no. That paradox is irresistible. It's not about playing games. It's about genuinely not needing her validation to feel like a man. Think about the guys women chase. It's not always the richest, the best looking, or the funniest. It's the one who moves through the world grounded, who doesn't crumble when rejected, who doesn't over-explain when she pulls back. That kind of man feels rare, and rarity creates value. Here's the truth. Most men spend their lives chasing techniques, scripts, and tricks to make women want them. But the only real trick is mastering yourself. Take care of your body, your sleep, your finances, your goals. Practice silence. Learn to breathe through tension. Become the man who doesn't flinch at rejection, who doesn't beg for reassurance, who doesn't lose his center. When you walk into a room with that kind of presence, women notice. When you sit across from her radiating calm confidence, she feels it. She doesn't need you to say, "I want you." She already knows, and that's why she leans closer without you asking. Presence is what makes intimacy natural instead of negotiated. It's the difference between being the guy she likes and the man she can't resist. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to fake it. You can build it. Every time you hold silence instead of over-talking, every time you choose calm over panic, every time you respect her no without collapsing, you're training your nervous system to stay grounded. That's the real secret. Presence, not lines. Energy, not words. Become that man, and you'll never again wonder how to ask for intimacy because you won't have to. She'll feel it, she'll want it, and she'll choose it without you saying a word. So let's close this with one final truth. Women don't fall for the man who begs for intimacy. They don't melt for the man who keeps asking, "Is this okay?" They fall for the man whose energy is steady, whose presence is undeniable, who makes her feel something she can't explain. Intimacy isn't earned through negotiation. It's provoked by confidence, by restraint, by the kind of masculine calm that tells her without words, "I want you, but I don't need you." If you've been the guy who overtalks, overreacts, or overexplains, don't beat yourself up. Most men are trained to believe that being endlessly polite will eventually pay off. But women don't crave politeness, they crave presence. And once you understand that, once you start leading instead of asking, once you start using silence instead of chatter, once you start reading her energy instead of her excuses, you'll see the shift. She'll lean in, she'll test you less, she'll want you more. The choice is yours. Keep being the safe guy who gets friend-zoned, or step into the role of the man who doesn't need tricks or lines because his presence already says everything. When you stop chasing and start embodying, women can't ignore you. That's not arrogance, that's clarity. And clarity is attractive. Now, if this video hit you hard, if you saw yourself in some of these points, I want you to do 3 things. First, hit that like button. It tells me this message is reaching the men who need it most. Second, subscribe to Olivia Rose and tap the bell because we're just getting started. And third, drop a comment with the words, "Lead softly." Let me know if you've ever ruined a moment by asking too much, or if you felt that shift when you finally trusted your energy. I read every comment, and your story could help another man wake up today. Until next time, stay calm, stay grounded, and remember, intimacy isn't something you ask for, it's something you create.